I told him almost every play that he was weak.
Nobody worried about him. You still mad because I was locking you up?
You're not strong enough. You're not strong enough, 15. Ah, shut up. Hey, you can't with me, Gronk. Hey, Gronk.
He made All-Pro as a return specialist. Let's get that right. As a return specialist.
No!
Since 2016, Jalen Ramsey has been hating on opponents, spitting game in the most non-discreet ways, but certainly backing it up on NFL fields with his stuck-on-you-like-glue coverage. As one of the most dynamic cornerbacks in the NFL, he quickly developed into a defensive star and has remained solid. During his journey, us as fans have been provided great entertainment thanks to his soaring confidence and the fact that he is not afraid to go after anyone, even future Hall of Famers. So what's going on, guys? Your boy Mike here. Real quick before we get to the content, make sure you sack the like button for the YouTube algorithm because Jalen Ramsey's trash talk might get this video demonetized. And honestly, I don't care if the video gets demonetized, but if it does, then it won't get pushed out to a larger audience and all the work that we're putting in could be for nothing. And of course, if this isn't your first time watching one of our videos, consider subscribing and turning on our notifications because we're giving away a NFL jersey of your choice. All you have to do is subscribe, turn on our notifications, and let us know in the comment section down below what jersey you'd like. Now that we got all that out of the way, Mic check 1 2 1 2. Jalen Ramsey is from Tennessee, attending high school in Brentwood, a suburb of Nashville, a dual athlete that shined in both football and track and field. In track, he set a state record in long jump, and on the gridiron, he was a 5-star recruit who was originally committed to USC before switching to Florida State. The Florida State 4x100 relay team, which he led off for thanks to his speed, won the ACC championship in 2015. Individually, Jalen was a mere 3 inches short of an Olympic qualifying mark in the long jump, and his leap was good enough for an ACC championship. Ramsey also became the first true freshman to start a game at cornerback for the Seminoles since someone you may have heard of, an individual by the name of Deion Sanders, who would do that 30 years earlier. In his junior season, Jalen Ramsey earned All-American honors and would declare for the NFL draft. As you can imagine, it was obvious that he had the talents to play at the next level. At the NFL Combine, Ramsey tied for the best mark in broad jump and vertical jump and ran a 4.41 40-yard dash. After a good showing at his pro day as well, he was ranked as a top defensive back prospect heading into the draft, and many predicted that he would go in the top 10. Then draft analyst Mike Mayhawk and many others were absolutely smitten, comparing him to the next Richard Sherman. Thus, in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars selected Jalen Ramsey in the first round with the 5th overall pick, making him the highest cornerback selected in the draft and the earliest drafted cornerback by Jacksonville in their franchise history. Less than 1 month into his NFL career, Jalen Ramsey decided to show off a brand new skill, one of trash talking, which would complement his quite spectacular play on the field. On September 25, 2016, after the Jaguars faced off against the Baltimore Ravens, Jalen Ramsey and legendary wide receiver Steve Smith began jawing at each other throughout the game and even started a scrum at one point. When asked about the situation following the game, Ramsey told reporters,
You know what I'm saying? The game over with. You still mad because I was locking you up? Alright, go sleep on that. I ain't trying to hear that after the game.
So you vowed that he wouldn't get in your head. But you managed to get in his head, you think?
What you think? You tell me. You tell me. Anytime I lined up on him, he came up to me after the game. You feel me? Y'all tell me who got in who had. You an old man acting like that.
Of course, Smith Sr. was one of the OGs when it came to trash talk and rebutted via Twitter writing, "In 5 to 10 you will be retiring and they'll be taking my measurements for something you will never be. Hashtag Hall of Famer. I got cleats with stronger thread than you." Then in the Monday morning media round, Smith Sr. went into detail of exactly what happened. He said that Ramsey had pushed him in the back after one of Flacco's interceptions and it caused Smith Sr. to fall fell to the ground. He said, "I'm not scared of you." I said, "Okay, cool, I'll see you after the game." After the end of the game, I had a little chit chat with him. I wanted to give every opportunity if he had anything to say right there, right now, and he didn't take the opportunity. Ramsey continued to improve on the field in his rookie season, especially on the road in Houston, where he had an interception, a forced fumble, 5 pass deflections, and 4 solo tackles. And although the Jaguars were just awful during that 2016 season, he was named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week in a win against the Tennessee Titans, where he made 4 tackles, defended 4 passes, and had a pick 6 against quarterback Matt Castle. Jaguars fans who had only seen 3 wins the season before under quarterback Blake Bortles and didn't want a repeat losing season were begging for a change at the signal caller position. Even Blake Bortles' own teammates were encouraging a change at the quarterback position. As you can imagine, that teammate was no other than Jalen Ramsey. Maybe Jalen didn't quite understand that on August 16, 2016, he clicked the heart on an Instagram post of a Big Cat Country article on potential Blake Bortles replacements. Even with no change at quarterback, there was hope for Jacksonville, as going into the 2017 season, the Jaguars secondary had pretty much all turned over except for Ramsey, who had been the star. Ramsey continued to terrorize opposing receivers and quarterbacks throughout the 2017 season. In late September, he intercepted Joe Flacco as the Jaguars defense held the Ravens to 7 points. Then, against Big Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers in Week 5, he intercepted the future Hall of Famer and recorded 7 combined tackles and 4 pass deflections. In Week 9, on November 5th, 2018, Ramsey was in AJ Green's dome the entire day, and Green is known as a guy who is pretty subdued, laid back, and certainly not on the do not aggravate or he may explode list. However, Green, the 7-time Pro Bowler, after being shoved by Jalen Ramsey, pretended that he had boxing gloves on and started swinging for Ramsey's jaw. Ramsey, along with AJ Green, were ejected after the on-field altercation.
I told him almost every play that he was weak, that he was soft. That demonstrate facts. He just couldn't handle the truth. It was facts. Told him that his time almost up. Told him that it was easy, which it was. He had 1 catch for 6 yards. I was just out there spitting facts to him.
Ramsey's performances, theatrical and athletically, were good enough to give him a grade of 91.8, which ranked him second of all cornerbacks in the NFL. In 2017, he had started all 16 games, made 4 picks, had 17 pass deflections, and had 52 solo tackles, 63 combined, and the Jaguars had miraculously rose to the top of the AFC South. Yes, with Blake Bortles still as their quarterback, and they actually made the playoffs, where they faced off against the Bills in the wild card round. In that victory, Ramsey intercepted Bills quarterback Nathan Peterman, who had entered the game for an injured Tyrod Taylor. Riding high, the Jaguars marched into Heinz Field, and Ramsey contributed 4 tackles in that divisional round victory. Surprisingly, the underdogs, the Jacksonville Jaguars, were headed to the AFC Championship. Although he didn't have much success against Tom Brady in the AFC Championship, logging only 2 tackles, but who really could shut the GOAT down? Thanks to the Jaguars defense and Jalen Ramsey, the Jacksonville Jaguars made it all the way to the AFC Championship. During that offseason, Ramsey's fellow players ranked him 17th on the NFL's top 100 players for 2018. Of course, Jalen then would begin a tradition of what he thought of fellow NFL players and mentioned one quarterback that he didn't agree being named to that list, Jimmy Garoppolo. Ramsey said of Jimmy G making it to the top 100, "Not yet." What? He played 5 games? He has good potential. I think he'll be a good player, but in my experience playing him, it was a lot of scheme stuff. It wasn't like he was just dicing us up, it was a lot of scheme. Then just over a month later, GQ magazine sat down with Ramsey, now a Pro Bowl cornerback and a finalist for the next comic standing, when he talked some serious and lengthy trash on some of the best quarterbacks in the game. He started with then Bills rookie quarterback Josh Allen. Ramsey said of Allen, "I think Josh Allen is trash. I don't care what nobody say. He's trash. And it's gonna show too. That's a stupid draft pick to me. We play them this year and I'm excited as hell. I hope he's their starting quarterback." Jalen Ramsey didn't have much to say about Joe Flacco other than he sucks. Even a future teammate of his, Jared Goff, he called average to above average. Then, perhaps not seeing the future, as in this guy would be his future teammate, when Matthew Stafford was mentioned, Ramsey compared Stafford to Blake Bortles and said, "You not a bad quarterback if you do what your team asks of you." Matthew Stafford, I think he's straight. I don't think he's the best quarterback out there, but he do what he gotta do. When asked about Eli Manning, Ramsey said that Eli wasn't good, but Odell Beckham Jr. was. Then on Ben Roethlisberger, Ramsey again threw out the average card for him and complimented the Steelers receiver instead of the signal caller, saying, I think he's decent at best, but it's not Big Ben, it's Antonio Brown. Big Ben slings the ball a lot of the time, and he just slings it, and his receivers go get it. He has a strong arm, but he ain't all that. I played him twice last year, and he really disappointed me. A few weeks later, all the reporters were looking for Jalen Ramsey gems for their writings. Then, Mina Kimes was bestowed the honor to sit down with Ramsey for an ESPN The Magazine article in which the cornerback continued the trash talking with other players who he considers not good. Ramsey did compliment Tom Brady, saying that Brady made Amendola look good, and then suggested that Tom could take him as a receiver and he would be a first-team All-Pro. On another one of Brady's favorite targets, Rob Gronkowski, Ramsey expressed to Kimes saying, let me say, I don't think Gronk is as great as people think he is. So this takes us into the 2018 season, and in week 2 the Jaguars were to meet the Patriots in a rematch of the 2017 AFC Championship. Leading up to the game, Jalen Ramsey was of course asked if he was worried about Rob Gronkowski, and he responded with, I don't fear no man period, so he's going to have to come out there and line up on me. The Jaguars did end up winning that game 31-20. Gronk was held to 2 catches for 15 yards. In early October, Chiefs and Jaguars were scheduled to meet in the Week 5 matchup. The Chiefs' speedster receiver, Tyreek Hill, told reporters,
he's alright, I guess, you know? I mean, I can't wait to line up against him, and I hope he presses me.
Then Ramsey came back growling, saying
He made All-Pro as a return specialist. Let's get that right. As a return specialist. He went to 2 Pro Bowls as a return specialist. 2 years, I made All-Pro in my position as a corner. Went to the Pro Bowl as a corner. So it's not a wide receiver versus corner matchup. So we can get that out of the way.
The Chiefs came away with the victory that day, and as for the whatever versus corner matchup, Ramsey did play one-on-one with Hill quite a few times. Tyreek came away with 2 receptions that were around 40 yards and a total of 4 receptions for 61 yards in the win. Ramsey made the Pro Bowl again in 2018 and had the chance to line up on offense as a wide receiver in the pretend game, and he caught a touchdown pass from Deshaun Watson. For 2019, Ramsey's 5th-year option was picked up, but by week 2, it wasn't just opposing players that was getting into it with. During a game against the Texans, there was a discussion between Jaguars head coach Doug Marrone and Jalen Ramsey, and the player and coach had to be separated. Ramsey, who got into the sideline shouting match in that week 2 loss to the Texans, shared to Lowdown with the Uninterrupted podcast, saying some disrespectful things were said on their end that made me definitely walk out and call my agent as soon as I walked out, and I told him, I said it's time. My time is up here in Jacksonville. I want to ask for a trade. Then by mid-October, he was on a flight to LA as he had been traded to the LA Rams in exchange for a 2020 first-round pick, a 2021 first-round pick, and a 2021 fourth-round pick. In week 16 of that season, he messed up Jimmy Garoppolo's scheme and picked him off for Ramsey's first interception of the season. Just before the kickoff to the 2020 season, Ramsey inked his name on a $105 million extension, making him the highest-paid cornerback in NFL history. By week 4, Ramsey had again made a pop boil over when a fight broke out between him and Giants player Golden Tate, who happened to be the brother of Ramsey's ex-girlfriend. Apparently, it was due to comments Ramsey said about Tate's sister Brianna, and the NFL fined Ramsey nearly $16,000 for his role in the post-game duel. Just last month, Chicago Bears fans got into the trash talk action when someone changed Bears receiver Darnell Mooney's Wikipedia page to say he was Jalen Ramsey's dad. As you can imagine, Ramsey caught wind and tweeted, "Can't wait till week 1 so all these lame-ass Bears fans can STFU about their number 2 wide receiver." The Chicago fans went on a Twitter spree, but they must have forgotten that the last time Jalen Ramsey met the Bears, the Rams came out on top 24-10. Ramsey also recently voiced his own opinion regarding the Julio Jones trade. Jalen thought that the Rams should have been contenders for the dynamic receiver, and he tweeted right after the terms of the deal were disclosed saying, "This is all it took for a generational guy, and we were out of the Julio Jones sweepstakes, I can imagine that there will be more excitement regarding Jalen Ramsey's banter this offseason and through the 2021 season. Frankly, I believe Ramsey can speak all the trash he wants until he starts to get lit up on the field a few times. However, it seems like he is so good that he is purposely avoided on the field. As for the opponents coming at him more on the field, he refers to his $105 million NFL paycheck, saying, "I'm always up for the challenge, and I always kind of want that." But you know, they got 105 reasons why they might not want to do that. Good luck, NFL receivers and quarterbacks. I hope you have thick skin, as Jalen Ramsey still has plenty of bark and bite left in him.